there were moments when I was watching this show that I felt like I would have liked to have Jake in this episode to kind of pop up and do a moment. And those moments really started for me almost in the beginning when Picard is being interviewed by the press.
In season
season one.
Yeah.
Season one. Yeah.
It would have been great if it was Jake, but
I was thinking, hey, that's a good moment for Jake. That was one idea.
Totally.
And then the other time I was thinking that same thought was when Picard is being surrounded by the cadets inside of that, while he's eating, and they kind of approach him and say, are you, tell us the stories about, yourself. And he kind of gives them the story. But in my mind, I thought Jake would have been in the background saying, yeah, well, what about Wolf 359?
Just because we've hung out before, that I've casually told you that we had many Jake conversations in the season 3 writers' room. And one of the ideas was you would cut to, because season 3 is a conspiracy. And as people like Ro Laren and our heroes are realizing that changelings have infiltrated Starfleet, and there's a moment actually where Ro Laren says, "I even tried going to the press." That was Jake Sisko, and the idea was you would cut to we didn't have the money to do it, mostly for set reasons, but like you would cut to Jake Sisko, this journalist who's starting to put whose specialty is Starfleet because of obviously his background, and that's his focus, is realizing weird shit's going on. Things are being reported but then dismissed. Frontier Day, he's covering Frontier Day, but like there's a lot of things about it that don't make sense. And as he goes down the rabbit hole, he starts to figure out what's up. But that was like its own series. Like once we started talking about that, we were just like, yeah. And then we were like, we can't do that. So what we did actually, what I did, and when it was all over, is I pitched it as a podcast. I pitched it as Jake covers the Frontier Day disaster. And starts to fill it out, and he's actually part of rooting out the very end of it. And they were like, no, we've got some podcasts already planned. I was like, oh man, but I wanted it ready for after the season finale aired. You can immediately go to and it was Jake. It's a podcast with Jake talking, like through it all. And but look, that's what's so unique about, if we ever get to do anything in this time period again, is that's really a side of Star Trek we haven't seen, which is like civilian coverage of Starfleet. Well, we've seen some of it, but it would be really interesting for the son of Sisko, and who's been through the Dominion War and everything. Like I think he has such a unique perspective. Anyway.
It's an amazing idea. People would have loved it. They would have eaten it up. On behalf of Star Trek fans, and I know you're a huge Star Trek fan yourself, Terry, we would have eaten it up. It was a great idea. It's a bummer it didn't end up working out, but great idea.
I was listening to it. It's like you play it out like a Starfleet true crime podcast. With all lots of Elcar chirps going through it, but like, it was cool. It was cool. You know what? I'll dig up the pitch sheet and I'll send it to you because it was cool. It was I mean, not salt in the wound, but I think we could do it. I mean, even if we do it as a fan film, we should do it.